Rich, how are you, sir?
Great, Kevin. How are you?
Good,
to see
good. You too?
Enjoying the show?
Enjoying the show for sure. Throw the headphones on there. You'll be able to hear me a little bit better. There we go. Is that better?
Much better.
All right, cool. So we have Rich Trahey, VP and Global Sales and Marketing at Configura. So Rich, why don't you tell us a little bit about Configura for people that aren't familiar?
Yeah, sure. Configura is a software company, and we provide design tools to the industry. We actually operate in 3 industries: commercial interiors, so anybody designing an office, they can configure an office with all different manufacturers. Office furniture, we're in kitchen if you want to configure your kitchen, and we're in warehouse spaces,
Yes.
which I consider the most exciting. That's
Of
the
course.
industry I came from. And if you're here at MODEX, you know how exciting it is. Lots of robotics and automation and everything. So that can be very complicated. All these different manufacturers, you could envision a warehouse with many different pieces of equipment in it, and having to make that all work together. We provide a 3D design platform where you can configure many different manufacturers' equipment in one solution, have a detailed bill of material, cost estimate, and beautiful renderings in 3D fly-through videos, so that you can really get the stakeholders aligned, because that's really what like the ethos is of our software is collaboration, a common platform to really get stakeholders aligned around this is the right vision and here's why, and design beautiful, sexy warehouses.
Absolutely, the sexy warehouse. We love it. I think, and we've had a demo of Configura before on the show on our
Alex
YouTube.
was on here with
you. On YouTube if people want to go back and check that out a while ago. But I mean, having that 3D visualization, I think is so important because I've been working in warehousing for a while, and it's hard to see when you're going to do a big project, big investment, and you have just the plans in front of you. It's a little difficult to visualize it sometimes, and maybe take it to that convincing level to the decision maker, right? So tell us a little bit about how you're able to kind of take everything that we see around us here at MODEX and all these technologies, and really kind of make that difference where people can see that, okay, this is what it's going to look like, and maybe save themselves from making some potential mistakes.
Yeah. So that's one of our core tenets is eliminating errors. And the way we're able to do that is taking as many assumptions out of the game as possible. So having published, engineered, pre-engineered solutions that are configurable inside of both libraries and extensions. So think of like your phone. Your phone has apps on it, and you can download more apps, and you pick which apps you download. Our software is like that. It's the platform. CET is Configura Extension Technology. Those extensions are apps. So all these different manufacturers here can publish their extension on the platform, and then you use their pre-engineered data in your solution. And for the manufacturers, they get to protect their IP. It's all behind the scenes. And they're just publishing that visualization. And then we actually call our technology PGC, Parametric Graphical Configurations. The graphical is the belief that, like, hey, we're all visual. We even think in images. So graphical interface so that you can drag things, drop them, have very few gestures, and connect all these different pieces of technology. And then behind the scenes, calculations are running and happening to say, like, hey, this conveyor connects to that conveyor. It needs to be the same width, have the same loads, and the same type. And then automate the boring task. When I first started in the business, my very first job back in the 90s was drawing brackets. And we would constantly draw brackets over and over and over. It's like, just switch brackets. It's like, I was a detailer. I was new. I was like, I had to raise my hand and then go ask the checker, why am I drawing the same bracket on every project? So we take a lot of that boring stuff and we automate it, right? We'll automate it so you can push a button, like lay out all your conveyor, push a button, and all of your braces are automatically installed, as an example, to take the boring parts out so people can really have fun and enjoy work, right? If you're going to design a sexy warehouse, you should have some fun doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think that makes so much sense, and it's so helpful to be able to do those things, and like you said, take those repetitive tasks away, right? And I think that's what a lot of solution providers here are trying to do with their automation and robotics, right? So it makes sense. Why would we not do that on the back end too, during the design process and through software as well, to be able to make that happen? So as we look at your product and we look at overall here, we have a lot of it's great for like the operator, right, in the warehouse too, to have that better understanding. But we have some solution providers in the audience too that listen. So why don't you tell us from their perspective? I mean, how does it help them? Whether they're an integrator or material handling sales company or one of the automation robotics companies here. I mean, how does it help them to streamline kind of their overall sales process and present better to the customer?
Great question. I'll give you a story. I'll leave the names out,
Sure.
But it's an integrator that if you've walked in Holby, I'm sure you've seen them. There's a few of them, and they're awesome. Come by our booth, you can see the full list of names, but I just wouldn't want to shout out one or two when we actually have, I'll just give you this stat. Last year, January, I'm really proud of our team and the excitement of the whole industry. We had 40 companies using material handling. We're relatively new in the material handling space, but we had 40 companies in January last year. This January 2024, we had 81 companies using the software.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So we've doubled the number of companies using the software, and I believe, like anything that grows fast, it's from word of mouth. Somebody hears this story. I used your software, Rich, in a sales cycle, and I was able to live design with the customer. And we did a workshop in a day. And in that day, we probably made 8 to 12 iterations of the concepts, right? And that end customer, the owner of the building, they also loved it. And they told them, hey, anytime I'm designing a building, I only want to work with you because I loved this experience. Yeah. Right? And I've been on both sides of that coin where I've designed things with an external party and you talk about review a drawing, review a PowerPoint, give feedback, they got to go away, come back, reschedule a meeting, update things. And some people, we have an integrator in Europe was our user of the month just a couple months ago, and his soundbite was like, hey, this used to take me 2 days, and now it takes a half a day.
Wow.
So he said, sometimes, I can respond really quick, but even better is I make 3 designs. I don't just make 1 design. That really gives you an edge with your competition because you really have thought through all those different ramifications. I'm a big believer in whiteboards because I can iterate, wipe, erase, do it again. And our software is so fast, you can actually do that with these huge 500,000 square foot facilities and iterate with your customers. So I think that's the customer experience. That's a huge change if you're an integrator out there thinking about like, how do I engage my clients? Using this kind of software is highly engaging in the design, and they really become drawn to you like they want to be part of that design process, and it enables that. So that's like the exciting part. Of course, that's the top end. You're going to grow your revenue. I had somebody tell me, at the lobby last night, they're like, Rich, we just started using your software. Holy cow, we have 2 new projects that are our all-time high projects, and we're going to close those because of your software. And another integrator tell me, like, the biggest project they've ever done in their history, we're talking north of $100 million, we used your software, and it's going to help us close that deal. Wow. So, I mean, that's that top end, right? That everybody's looking at how do we grow our company, and visuals are engaging. That's really what it's about. And then that speed of iteration. I tell you what I want out of you, and you immediately react. I don't have to wait for you to like go back, do stuff, come. That's powerful. And then on the back end, we automate the documentation. And that's the elimination of errors. Those are the ones where those are the hidden costs. The ones you don't want to talk about. You don't want to broadcast like, hey, this company used to blow it at $500,000 a pop and make errors here and here and here. And they didn't like talking about that. But our software eliminates those errors, right? Because the documentation matches that customer expectation. You got them all excited about, show them the visualization, and then the documentation now matches it. So it's installed correctly, the bill of materials there, all the parts get ordered on time because we integrate with the ERP system. So it's all that magic behind the scenes that makes sure not only are they happy when you sign the deal, they're happy when you go live.
Right, yeah, so it's kind of that end-to-end, even like the introductory process all the way to, making sure that everything is complete, being ordered, like, missing a certain part or something like that, or ordering the wrong part. I mean, I think that consistency and almost standardization, right? I mean, that's what we love in the warehouse, right? So why not do that in this process as well? So, I mean, as people are here attending and, they're looking at these solutions from a customer perspective, tell us a little bit why it's so important for like the operator to be able to visualize some of these solutions in their space before they just say like, oh, like, yeah, let's get this in here and try it out.
I'd throw out 3 reasons.
Sure.
One, I think, is that visual management is important. I think if you can see a space ahead of time, like if I'm the operator of the building, even though, yes, we have data analytics and IoT and all kinds of things to tune dials, my father-in-law, Gene Simons, shout out to you, gave me some of the best operational advice ever. He ran warehouses, and he ran them lights out, right? He always hit his numbers. He said Rich was just about getting boxed out the door. But he lived MBWA, management by walking around. And I still believe that at the end of the day. Like, what are we all doing? We're walking around. We're a relationship by walking around. But when you run a warehouse, you do need to run around or walk around. Shout out to Amazon. When you tour their facility, you'll see they literally design their facilities so that they have their control towers and they have their supervisors able to walk around and have that combination of, like, my control tower's here and I can see what's going on. And I have a mezzanine here where I can see what's going on. So that's just real in life. In war, in the battle of running a DC really well, you need to be able to see it. So I'm a big believer in mezzanines and supervisory control towers being up on a mezz, so you can kind of see all your data and see the operation and really connect the two. Of course, you can use AV tools to improve that, but I think visualization of seeing an operation run kind of shouts out to warehouses being sexy, and I'd even throw in the word beautiful. Sexy is kind of like attractive. Beautiful is like there's a beauty to a good design.
Absolutely.
And when something doesn't look beautiful, it probably might not function well too, right? I know form follows function, but there's an element of a beautifully designed warehouse is also a nice place to work. So that's the second element I'd say is, like, it's tough to hire people in warehouses. Everybody here knows that. That's what justifies automation, is that there's not too many people who say, I want to grow up and I want to move cases around all day. So automating makes that happen. But you still need people in a warehouse. I have not actually seen too many warehouses where there's nobody inside, unless it's a 20 below ASRS freezer. Those are nice to stay out of. So you want to make a beautiful place where people want to work. And that's an element, I think, where we as an industry have a ton of growth opportunity, right? I worked on a project where that was actually one of the big requirements was that they wanted this warehouse to feel like an office because this was actually a documentation handling, and these people used to work in an office, and they had so much documentation to handle, they had to move into a warehouse, an automated warehouse, and they said we want it to feel like an office. Now, they weren't trying to make the future, but I think that is the future, right? It's like, let's make them more sexy, let's make them beautiful, so people want to work there. Yeah, I think that's such a great thing, and I love the beauty part of it too, and I think, like, you have this well-run, well-designed warehouse, and it certainly is a beautiful thing to see, and I love to go into a warehouse and see that, and see, it's organized, it's clean, everybody there's a place for everything to be and all those different things, and you can just tell the difference in just the environment and the atmosphere there. And I think that's such a great thing for you to call out there, and I really appreciate that. So Rich, I really appreciate you coming by the booth here and talking to us about Configura and talking to us about the beauty of warehouses too. I love that. If people are interested in learning more about Configura, what's the best way to do that? Well, if you're still here at the show, go and see us at booth B7853. It's on the power aisle in B Hall. All right. Or go to configura.com and reach out. Or hit me up on LinkedIn, Rich Trahey on LinkedIn.
Sounds good. Rich, appreciate you coming by. Good to talk to you.